So hello everyone, today we will look at tricks in After Effects that you probably didn't know, have never used, but they will definitely help you make your animations cooler in the future, and they are really very useful. I have prepared 10 compositions here. Each trick has its own composition, and I will show how to use them. The first is interpolation. For example, if we have some shape, I have an ellipse, and if I want to animate it, I will open the position. I will place the first keyframe anywhere there. I don't know what it will be here. I will place the second keyframe here and the third one here, and I get this animation. But I want, for example, it to be smooth along such an arc. I can simply select the 3 keyframes, go here, and select the Convert Vertex tool. And just click here and I will get these little things to control my arc animation and simply manually adjust the path along which my animation will move. Also in this case, when I move all the keyframes, it will create a certain animation there. My animation stops at the 3rd keyframe, but if I suddenly don't want it to stop and continue moving straight, it should slightly slow down at the turn. I can select the middle keyframe and press Ctrl twice, and I will get a round keyframe. And let's see what happens in this case. Our animation seems to have slightly slowed down and then started moving again at the same speed. Also, if I want to extend or slow down this animation a bit, I can select my keyframes, press Alt, and simply drag the last keyframe to the right or left. This is to increase it, and then our animation will last 2 seconds. The second trick is the loop path. So if we have some animation, let's create it. I have a rectangle. I can, for example, convert it into a Bezier path. Animate. Let's set up our guiding eyes. Here we have such an animation, but it ends here. And if I want it to continue, I need to apply a certain expression to our path. But this expression only works if we have a path, not for a rectangle, or for simple animation based on position or scale, for example. Now we take this expression and paste our path into it, and then our animation will continue looping completely for the entire duration of our composition. Here we see that the keys have already ended, but the animation continues to occur. The next feature is snapping. Here I turned it on. Our grid. You can turn it on here, you can turn it off. And for example, if I want to draw evenly, I don't know, like some shape, I take the pen tool and, I don't know, just randomly draw something. But I want it to be like even. Then I turn on this snap to grid feature, and with simple movements, after that, my anchor points will kind of snap to our grid. This is visible. It's very convenient because you can draw straight geometric shapes. The next very handy tool is the scatter. For example, if we have some disk and I want to, I don't know, add a bit more shadow or give it a more 3D look, then I can use the scatter effect. Here, I will conditionally draw any arbitrary disk. Let's add a blur to it. And let's add a scatter to it. Let's duplicate our shape. And we will make this our shape. Let's do an alpha mate, a simple alpha mate. And we can also add to our scatter an effect like try, setting it to, for example, 12. Don't forget to check this box, randomize every frame to have animation, and we will get such a cool effect. The next convenient feature is the search within our layers. That is, for example, I want to find the position of each layer, and for this I will have to, for example, select like this, or just select all and press position. But if I want, for example, some internal, for example, to find somewhere here, some fill, color, for example, or stroke width, I can just simply select the layers and type stroke, and it will immediately show me all the strokes in which layers it is, and I can quickly change it. The next cool feature is when you can align text nicely. For example, if I just write any random text, then this part of the alignment in the paragraph is unavailable to me. But if I just select the text and click the left mouse button and drag this thing, a sort of area will appear where I can write my text and I can change it like this. And for example, let me insert some text, and you can just select this thing and it will align itself. If it's just like this, the text will be centered. If you select all the text and click this, the text will stretch left and right, and it will create a cool effect. The next function is also very convenient. For example, we have some animation, or we animated the text. This layer, our mask, will interfere because it will create. We already have little space here, so why continue? Just a mask that we won't be using. It will just take up space. We can click here, and then click here, and our layer will just be hidden. We can also hide our background that we created, and we won't be returning to it everywhere. Also, the 8th feature, it's called feature collapse transformation. Conditionally, if we add our text to the composition, let's go into the composition and reduce the size a bit. And conditionally, If we bring animation to our text inside the composition and observe what will happen in the main composition, our text will be hidden somewhere, but there are some cases when it's necessary for the text to be visible. Or, for example, if we take it this way, we wrote some text further on, it's not visible, and if we go to the main composition, we also can't see it. But if you click here, this effect is called collapse, specifically transformation. We click here and we can see all the text that is in our composition, and we can also fully see all the animation that is inside the composition. The ninth feature that you probably have never used, you don't even know about its existence. Its name is Shape Gradient Tool. Let's say, if we have something, I don't know, let it be, and we want to add a gradient to it, for example. Here we added a gradient, but when we move our shape, the gradient will change because the position of our gradient is not attached to the shape. So in this case, there is a tool called Gradient Shape Tool. It can be enabled right here. Just click here on Fill, not here, but here. And here you can enable, for example, a linear gradient. And we get this little thing. After that, we go right here. I already have a few colors selected. Here, you can add more. And here we get such a cool gradient. Just to manage these colors, there are two sliders here. And you can add some blur there to make it look cool. Here, it's a very cool feature because when I move my shape, my gradient will stay in the same place as my shape. And the last feature for today, the 10th, is that the text follows the mask. So, if we have some text, let's say I wrote, "Oh, I will take and draw some mask." To not draw a mask, you need to select the text. And after that, draw the mask. Let's say it will be like this. We will use our previous feature, which is the Convert Vertex tool, and for example, to make our text the same as this path. Let's simply go to Text and then Path Options and Mask 1. And we see that our text is stretched along our path, along our mask. We can set precisely where the beginning will be, or the end exactly. We can stretch our text. It's really cool. You can use this feature. You can animate such cool text along some shapes. You can apply it not only to the pen tool, but you can also draw, for example, some ellipse. Select path options, for example, mask 2, and our text will become like the ellipse mask. That's all for today. If this helped you, liked it. If you didn't know such features, then like, subscribe, and see you in the next tutorial.